Guys, it's time to modify the Capra. It's getting a hacked Flysky GT5, 8 channels of awesomeness. It's getting a Treal aluminum belly. It's getting a Treal aluminum transmission case. And it's getting a Hobbywing 1080 ESC. Take a look. I got a lot to get done with the Capra in this video. We're going to start out with the Treal transmission case, the Treal belly, and then go into the Hobbywing 1080 ESC. I'm going to keep the stock motor just to see how much better the 1080 ESC is versus the stock one. The stock one, in my opinion, I don't know, it's marginal at best. So hopefully the 1080 will make that motor perform a little bit better. If not, I'm going to put a Holmes in this thing. Of course you knew that, right? Anyway, at the bottom left corner of the screen is the time. That's the time where we start driving. I'm going to go ahead and get this started by taking off all 4 tires. I'm going to take the receiver lid off. Going to take the belly loose and just get all of that out to where I can have it right on the table. The way they've got this set up, everything just kind of plugs in right to some jumpers right there, or some servo extensions. So you can actually get to all of this, drop the entire belly without actually having to get into the receiver box if that's what you're doing. Obviously, we got to get into it because we're changing the entire radio. I'm going to do an entire video just on this servo right here. I do get questions about, how do you put the Micro 99 in there and all this. And when I did that, I did it inside of another video. So it's kind of hard to just say, hey, this is how you do that particular servo. So what we're going to do is that's going to be a whole separate video specifically on the servo. However, for this, we obviously have the transmission case and the belly and the ESC. Now with that servo out of the way, it's time to go ahead and take the drive shafts loose at the transmission. And then we're going to take the transmission itself off the belly by removing those 4 screws right down there. Since the belly is the easiest part, especially at this point right now, that's what we're going to do. Take the 4 screws that hold the top links on, take them out, the top links will come loose. There is a long set screw that goes right there, and it goes all the way through your bottom links. Take that all the way out. That uses a 1.5 millimeter hex wrench, as where these use a 2 millimeter hex wrench. The Treal belly, beautiful piece. It comes with its own hardware that we will be using. I'm going to have to remove the micro servo mount and transfer that over to here. With the micro servo transferred over, you start looking at the hardware. See these long 3 millimeter set screw looking things? You're going to want to save these. As you build from time to time all these extra screws, especially the odd ones like that, save those, put those up so you don't lose them. You never know when you're going to need something crazy just like that, and you'll have it. So now we're going to go ahead and get to putting that back together. The belly's in place, looking nice and shiny. Now that that's done, that was simple. Now I do want to let you know I did test fit the stock plastic transmission, and it did fit perfectly fine. So let's go ahead and get into this. The transmission case looks really nice, and it also comes with hardware right there that we're going to use. I'm going to pull the back piece off right here and pull these covers loose right here. This is the case completely disassembled. Machine work looks really nice. Very nice. On the back side of this, you see those fins? Those are there to help with heat dissipation. That's a nice touch. Now the aluminum case in itself will also dissipate motor heat, gear heat, and all that as well just by itself. Now we're coupling this in with the belly, which is, also aluminum. So that heat is actually going to transfer a little bit from this through the mounts into the belly. It will happen. As you're taking the stock transmission apart, be careful and pay attention to where things go. exactly what you have to take apart, if there are any shims or anything inside. It's got to go back together the exact same way, only in that case right there. What I'm going to do right here is I'm going to reassemble all this right back into the new tail housing. The assembly is in place now. Now I did add a tiny little bit of grease to the actual teeth on the other side. That way it can actually disengage under load a little bit easier. I don't know how much, but I kind of like to grease just a little bit. Do not over grease this, just a tiny little bit. And also, if you're going to be in the sand, real dusty environment, that grease will actually stick the dust and dirt, and then it'll just become like a grinding paste. So you may want to consider that as well. At this point, you have one screw to take out, and that will be right here at the top. That screw is already out, and you take this off, and now you have the internal gears. Now, I have heard about this, seen pictures online in the Facebook groups about lack of grease. And as you guys can see, there is absolutely none. And believe it or not, there are arguments both ways, grease the gears or not grease the gears. Personally, I like to have just a little bit, just a little film on the gears. I don't pack them solid because, well, I don't know, it just seems to be too much. Now, some cases have a lot of room inside, and this one is actually not that cramped in there. Most of the grease will actually probably peel off the gears anyway, and just kind of stick up here in these pockets and down here in the corners. So, anyway, I'm going to add just a little bit of grease to this. You will need to transfer your bearings over to the new case. Notice on this gear right here, you got this nice big flat area. That's the side that goes to the pin. A little bit of a rounded pin slot right there. I don't even know why they have a second slot on the other side. Really shouldn't be. This particular shaft comes out the front. So that's how you put that back in, then the pin, then the gear. So let's go ahead and get these bearings out. With the shaft in place from the front side where the spur gear is out to here, make sure you put that down on the pin. Just like that. And now you can actually put this, which is your center, well, spool basically. Notice that little bearing inside of there. If you have the kit, don't forget that bearing. You'll know about it pretty quick. There you go. Now that, with that piece, goes right over top of it. Before I do that, it's going to get a little bit of grease. With that in place and ready to go, it's just a simple matter of setting this right into here. These will line up. There you go. And then just finish putting the rest of the screws into place, and your transmission is complete, except for, the spur gear part. And we'll get to that in just a second. Now we're at the spur gear part, and I've already got that disc slid right onto the input shaft right there. Put the spur gear down. Hopefully it's all in place. Slip the outer piece on. There you go. Make sure everything is in place, which it is not. See if I can just get this one-handed here. Sometimes it's a bit of a... There we go, right there. That looks good right there. So now, instead of a spring, there's just simply a spacer. Spacer goes right there. And then you have basically a 4mm wheel nut. That goes right there and actually tightens that down. So it basically locks out the slipper even though there is a slipper here. Kind of an odd design, but well, now I'm going to go ahead and tighten that down. I just noticed something about the case that's actually really, really cool. This little piece right here. What that does in the stock setting, well, let me pull the shaft out and show you. In the stock setting, the bull gear or idler gear or whatever it is rides right there, and you can only fit about an 11-tooth pinion gear. You can slide that to the bottom spot, and there's just enough to hold it in place. It's not going to come out, but at this point you can run pretty much probably, I don't know, maybe an 8-tooth. I don't think I need to go that low. However, what I am going to do is just put it right back into the stock place, because I'm just using the stock motor with the stock pinion just to see how good the 1080 ESC is. However, that is a very nice addition. I like that. Nice, simple, and it works. When you build the kit, the instructions tell you to grease these gears. I do not grease these gears. The reason is, got that slipper pad over there. And grease, you know, sometimes it will just kind of spread out everywhere, depending on what kind of grease you use. And anyway, I don't use any grease on these gears right here. Everything is in place. It spins beautifully. Now it's just time for the motor. Went together perfectly. Really nice. It's a shame I'm going to cover these up with body panels. Yeah. Before I put this back in the cage, it's time to go ahead and get the 1080 set up and put in. Stock ESC right here. It's kind of looks like a modified version of a 1060. It's got the little jumpers like what you would find on a 1060. Here's the 1080. They come with a program card and all of that. So now it's time to get this set up with the Deans out here. And I'm going to go ahead and put a JST output, just in case I have to, put a BEC on this thing, or, I really bump up the servo. Got the Deans right there, and because this wire has to go across to top the motor and all that stuff, I really didn't want these wires just, hanging off the plug. So I just kind of stripped the wires back a little bit right here and soldered these into place. Sometimes this works out really neat. Sometimes it just creates an issue. For this application, I'm pretty sure it's going to be just fine. Although I don't have it hooked up yet, I'm just going to go ahead and set the ESC up real quick. Let me see. Setting 1, forward reverse, perfectly. Setting 2, LiPo, perfect. Number 3, cutoff voltage. Yeah, that's fine. Number 4, initial start force. We're going to make that 2%. Right there, push OK. Now we're down to 5, which is max forward force, which is 100%. Perfect. Number 6 is at 2, which is 50%. We're going to make that 75%. There we are. Max brake force, just leave that be. Drag brake, 1. Yeah, I'll just try that. That's initial drag brake, sorry about that. And then your actual drag brake is at 9, which is 100%. We'll see how that works out in here. Drag brake rate, this is how fast you get to 100%. I usually just leave that on 4, no problem. Neutral range, leave that on 4, that's fine. Start mode punch, it's on 5. Yeah, I think I'll bump that up to level 8. Right there, which is level 8. Now we got 13, which is the pulse width modulation frequency. It's currently set on 4. We're going to go ahead and max that out and put it on 5. This way it's completely quiet. Oh, I should be showing you all that, right? Now BEC voltage. Let's see. I've got to set this for 6 volts unless I run an external BEC. And the reason is the stock shift servo is only on 6 volts, so I'll just leave that alone for right now. When I do that other video with the Micro 99, that's when I'll go ahead and change that up to 7.4. And then here, freewheeling, we're going to enable that. I'm not sure exactly why, but that needs to be done. That controls your throttle speed. I mean, really. So enable that and you're done.
When you set up something like this, if you have the opportunity, go ahead and give it a full test drive. This motor, I can just about tell you, it does not have the torque to hold as well as the Holmes motor that's probably going to go in this. Probably the Expert 13 turn Holmes motor. More than likely that's going to be it. However, steering is set. Let's check out the dig. I got it set for momentary. And that's pretty much it right there. Now I can finally put it back in the chassis. Here we are, time to drive. I did not hook up the headlights because I don't really need lights. And I'll probably end up disconnecting the top ones. They were just really easy to hook up. Anyway, let's see what we've got here. Now this ESC, you know, they got a lot more control than the other one. Seems like just with that little bit right there, I can already tell this motor doesn't really have much holding power when it comes to drag brake. So let's see how that goes. I'm already liking the GT3C radio. Already liking that over the stock one. Yeah, brake can be a little bit stronger, and I've got it turned all the way up. So, and it has been rainy out here, so traction is not what it usually is. Maybe a little bit more legit, actually. See what we've got here with this. Haha. Need to get a little bit more over that way. I've got some overdrive gears I may put in this just to give them a bit of a run. Yeah, it looks like it could use definitely a little bit more motor. And the motor I've got in there is the, I believe I may have already, oh wow, this thing is weak. The Holmes Hobbies Crawlmaster Expert 13 turn. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely needs more motor. I think what I may end up doing is I may just go ahead and put the overdrive gears in it and maybe put together a video for you guys showing those as well. And basically, I've done overdrive videos in the past with these. I usually just take them out. And this thing does have a dig, which I have set on momentary. Hey, look at that Treal belly. Now let's see if I can actually get up this thing right here. All the installation and all took a lot longer than I thought, but I still want to be able to give you guys a good drive on it, you know. Maybe see if the belly's all scratched up and all that. Ow, that was not good. There we go. That was a nice bounce. Get into that dig. Not a fan of that servo with the servo saver. Set the endpoints, but you know, I don't know. And with the stock radio, you could never really get into it and out of it quickly, so. I don't know, I got a bunch of videos I want to do to this truck, or the Capra. So I'm just gonna have to start knocking them out one at a time, huh? So I've been in the grass a little bit, adjusting the dig, the end points out a little bit further. We'll see if lack of traction becomes an issue here. I mean, hey, still running the stock tires. This will get a tire upgrade soon. Yep. You don't drive out of that one. Give this right here a try, then I got to figure out what more direction I want to take this in. Comment down below whether you want to see this thing go full crazy wild like my other one, or stay, you know, more sensible, a little more, you know, a little more sensible, you know, easier to manipulate. Oh. Oh boy. I may have went too far with the endpoints. Well, I guess I know what my next video is going to be. Time to swap dig servos. Because I'm pretty sure I just killed it. Oh well.
So what do you guys think? The Treal stuff went in perfectly. The 1080 ESC was a huge upgrade. The motor is just weak. You know, I drive so many of these things, you know. When I pull a trigger, I can just say, okay, it's a little bit low on power. Or it's got, hey, holy cow, it's like a raging stampede, you know, bull with gigantic horns just killing everything in front of you, you know. But anyway, yeah, it's going to be getting a motor, and, you know, got to put that servo in there. So I'll probably go ahead and try to start working on the video for the Reese Micro 99, show you guys exactly how to put it in. And I've done a video and it had that in the video. But you know, people ask, hey, how do you mount that servo? Well, I want to show you guys how I mount it. So anyway, guys, hopefully you liked the video. Sorry, this thing has been a super long video. The install, you know, I just wanted to show you guys as much as I could on that. So hopefully you guys got to see some of the driving and it wasn't too horrible. Anyway, in that description are all the stuff I just put on this. The Treal transmission case, the Treal belly, the 1080 ESC, the Reese 444 servo, the Flysky radio, which are really hard to get right now. I'll try to put a link for those up. They're not coming in very well at all, but they are affiliate links. So if you have something in your cart on AMain, Amazon, or eBay, you know, just go ahead and set it there. Come to any of my videos, click on one of those links that goes to that site, and you'll probably go to a product or whatever it is I'm showing for that video. However, just check out with whatever you got in there. Every little bit helps, and I put it to good use. So guys, hopefully you liked the video, and thank you all for watching.
If you guys like what you see, make sure you're subscribed. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. If you really like what you see, consider clicking on that join button down below. With that, you can actually become a channel member. Members get early viewing of many of the videos and, you know, a little bit more personalized. Guys, thank you all for watching.